Let us see how to install Ubuntu Desktop in your local systems. The minimum requirements to install Ubuntu are a 2 GHz dual-core processor, 4 GB of RAM, 25 GB of hard drive space, and either a CD, DVD drive, or a USB port for the installer media. Although not necessary, internet access is helpful. Ubuntu can be installed by two methods. To boot from DVD, insert the Ubuntu DVD into your optical or DVD drive and follow the steps. Restart your computer. To boot from USB, most computers will automatically boot from the USB. Simply insert the USB flash drive and either power on your computer or restart it. Next, choose your keyboard layout and click Continue. In the next screen, choose the apps you want to install based on the installation type, normal or minimal installation. Also, check the option to install updates during the installation process and where to install third-party software. For this scenario, you need to set up partitions manually. Therefore, select something else and click Continue. In this screen, you need to partition your hard drive for the installation process. Next, click Continue from the pop-up window to create an empty partition table on the device. Now, you should be able to see the free space created equivalent to the capacity of the hard drive. Double-click on the free space to create a partition. To create a root partition where the base system files will be installed, enter the size of the new partition out of the total free space and set the file system type to ext4. Enter mount point as / from the drop-down list. Next, you need to create a swap partitioner area. You can see two partitions created, the root partition and the swap partition. Click Install now. You will be prompted to permit the installer to write the recent changes concerning partitioning to the disk. Click Continue to proceed. In this screen, select your location. If you are connected to the internet, your location will be detected automatically. Check if your location is correct and click Continue to proceed. In the Login Details screen, enter your name and the installer will automatically suggest a computer name and username. When you perform all the steps mentioned and the installation is completed successfully, you get this prompt message. Ubuntu installation. Let's see how to install Ubuntu in your local systems. You can see a virtual machine configured. Let's power on this. This is the first user interface screen that you will see. It checks for the disk space. After this is complete, you get this screen with two options. One is Try Ubuntu, that is temporary and does not use the hard disk for the installation. And the second is the option to permanently install Ubuntu in your system hard disk. Select the second option. In the next screen, you need to select the keyboard layout. Select the US English version. Click on Continue. You have two options for installation. One is the normal installation and the second is the minimal installation. The difference is in terms of the packages and the installation time. Normal installation contains web browser, utilities, office software, games, and media players, whereas minimal installation has just a web browser and basic utilities. We will go with the normal installation. You also have the other options to download updates and install third-party software. For our case, let's unselect the download updates option. Click on Continue. Next, you get the installation type screen. Again, you have two options. One is Erase Disk and Install Ubuntu, where the partition of the disk is automatic. The second option is Something Else, which allows you to select the partition size. Select Something Else and click on Continue. The disk name and size, which is 21.5 GB, are displayed on the screen. Click on Create New Partition Table option and select Continue. You get the available free space. You must create a minimum of 3 partitions to install Ubuntu. Click on the plus sign to start adding the partitions. For the first partition, select the mount point as /boot. Change the size to 250 MB to install the kernel and bootloader. Click on OK. In the second partition, change the size to 512 MB. And select the mount point as swap area. Click on OK. Sometimes, we also call it virtual space or virtual memory. The remaining space would be used for the main file system, called root file system. Select the mount point as /. This is where you have all the system directories and files installed. This completes the partition process. Click on Install Now. You get a prompt message to make this partition permanent. Click on Continue. For our example, the Kolkata time zone is selected. Click on Continue. For our example, keep the username as user100 and name the computer as Ubuntu Node 1. Set the desired password and click on Continue. The first operation is to copy the files into the disk. During this process, you get a welcome message to Ubuntu, which describes the features of the software, such as audio and video applications, productivity tools, games, graphics and photography applications, and some add-ons which are available in the open market. This message on your screen tells about the different products available, such as Rhythmbox Music Player and VLC Video Player. These are all from the open source world and not owned by any company or person. After the files are copied, the system installation begins. Now, you can see the other products available, such as Photo Manager and GIMP Image Editor, which is a powerful open source image editor. You will also find many application packages in Ubuntu or in the open source world. The default web browser available is Firefox, and Thunderbird is the email client, similar to Outlook Express in Windows. One more product that is equivalent to Microsoft Office is LibreOffice Suite, which offers LibreOffice Writer, LibreOffice Calc, and LibreOffice Impress. They are similar to MS Office Suite, such as MS Word, Excel Sheet, and PowerPoint. The access for everyone indicates the core philosophy of open source products. Appearance helps you modify the size of the icons, theme, and color of the desktop. You can select the required language support. You can see that there are many options available on the screen, such as network, Bluetooth, background, and more. We will cover these in a different module. Now, you have the information about the help and support for Ubuntu, where you can ask questions at Ask Ubuntu, which is a public community portal. There are already many questions, which are answered by various community members and teams from around the globe. Therefore, there are high chances that your queries have already been answered. We have both community support and commercial support. Community support is free, and commercial support is charged by people offering this service. The Ubuntu desktop version 20.4 is being installed. The installation is now complete. You need to restart the system to complete the setup. You have to remove this media. To do that, click on the tab and select Settings to avoid rebooting again from the media. For hardware, choose CD/DVD. And for connection, select Use Physical Drive. Now, click on OK, followed by Enter. The rebooting starts. The login screen is the first screen that appears after reboot. User100 is your default user. If you have some other user, click on Not Listed and type the required username. Choose the current user and enter the set password, and click Enter. We are using a virtual machine, and the first screen is displayed. You have the option to connect to your online accounts. They serve as a central repository to store files, documents, and mails. For now, we will skip this step. Live Patch is a feature in the product to automatically test and install patches without your intervention. We are not looking into this right now. So, click Next. Since this is a demo, select No, Don't Send System Info option on the Help Improve Ubuntu screen and click Next. Click Next again in the privacy screen with default settings. Click on Done on the Ready to Go screen. Now, your GUI screen is displayed. We have already received a software update, but we'll skip this for now. So, this is how you install Ubuntu in your system.